What's up, guys? So I hope you're doing well. I recently went and watched Bill and Ted Face the Music, and yeah, before I get into that, I do just want to say that recently I did rewatch the first two Bill and Ted movies. The first one, still absolutely love. I think Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is a very special movie just because of how unique it is and how much unadulterated fun it is. And the second one, I think, is a good attempt to continue that, but it does fail to some extent. It's still a fun movie that I enjoy watching, but I don't think it has that specialness. I did just rewatch both of those in preparation for Face the Music, and honestly, before I had even seen the movie, I was slightly disappointed in the name because you had Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and then you had Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I didn't really like that Face the Music was straying away from the titles, the two previous iterations, which were adjective synonym for journey or adventure. So, I would have, I don't know, having seen the movie, I think Face the Music is definitely is a good name for it, but I do wish it had been named something else, like you had Excellent Adventure, Bogus Journey, Bodacious Expedition, or something like that. I don't really know, but just to get right into it, Bill and Ted Face the Music. I mean, it's been 20-something years, almost 30 years since, almost 30 years since Bogus Journey. And to see the characters again is really fun. Keanu and Alex Winter is still, hilarious actors. Having seen Keanu Reeves do a lot of the stuff that he's been doing, like John Wick, it's fun to see him go back to a fun, lighthearted role. The movie is fun. It's very fun. It's not a modern comedy at all. It feels like it was made long ago. Like, it does really truly feel like a sequel to the other two and not a reboot or just some kind of cheap way to exploit people on nostalgia. It really is a good, solid movie that's fun and enjoyable. Really keeps in the spirit of the first two in many ways, but it does stray from them to make it feel fresh. The way many characters were brought back was really fun. To see Death again was obviously a treat, because by far the best part of Bogus Journey is Death, and to see that again was great. And personally, I really liked the daughters that Bill and Ted had. I think making the daughters does definitely make the story more interesting. I know the writers have said that's why they switched to daughters instead of having sons, and I really do think that does make it a little more entertaining, just to see them. That way it's not just a carbon copy of Bill and Ted. It's like the female version of Bill and Ted, which is obviously different than the male version of Bill and Ted, where it's just younger Bill and Ted. It would be exactly what we had in Excellent Adventure. So I liked that aspect. I didn't think it was a problem. I enjoyed those characters. Very well acted. And overall, I think raising the stakes of the previous films was cool to see them. So pretty much all the issues I have with the movie I can't really get into without getting into spoilers, but overall I think if you're a fan of Excellent Adventure, you'll enjoy this movie a lot. That being said, I do recommend rewatching Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey prior to watching this film if it's been a while since you've seen those. Actually, I just recommend watching those if you enjoy them, because they're great movies and fun to watch. That being said, we're going to talk a little bit about spoilers. A couple things that I found not quite as enjoyable is the fact that it does somewhat undermine the previous films, in that it's not actually the song that Bill and Ted writes, but the fact that the whole world was playing the same song. Like, it makes sense in the context of the movie, but it does kind of feel like it's insulting the previous films. It doesn't bother me because it's not like the previous films or some profound movies that are above ridicule or above challenging or above, it's not like they have a profound message that can't go back and be changed, so it doesn't really matter. Overall, it's a fun movie, and I think more fun than Bogus Journey, so it's not a problem. The movie does what it's meant to do, and that's to entertain for an hour and a half ish, whatever long it is, and it does that. It does that perfectly. It doesn't. I never felt like it was relying too heavily on the nostalgia, and maybe that's just because there's not like a ton of nostalgia. Because, I didn't grow up with Bill and Ted. I think I watched Excellent Journey probably for the first time 5-ish years ago. So, maybe it's kind of hard to notice when they were relying on nostalgia. But for the most part, I don't think they over-relied on it. It does make the story feel very, very final. Like, Bogus Journey definitely felt final. And then this one, it's final. Like, we have confirmation now that it worked. The world was saved. I really like the subplot of the marriage issues. I thought that was interesting to be like, Bill and Ted, it's Bill and Ted. Who's Bill, who's Ted? Like, the way they kind of lost their individuality, how that was hurting their marriage, I thought was funny, but also, it was funny, but also dramatic, and it was a good story. I do think it was kind of resolved a little too easily, just like, we're happiest here, we love you, and then it's over. But then Bill and Ted do finally say, I love you instead of we love you. So, but I'm not sure where they learned that. I guess just seeing themselves having lost their wives gave them the individuality they needed. The song that brought the world together kind of wasn't a great song. It was kind of a boring loop, but it doesn't matter because that's not what saved the world. It wasn't the song. It was the fact that everyone joined in playing it across all of time and the whole universe. So that's what made it special. And yeah, who knew? I always thought it was some song the Wild Stallions wrote, but no, their true song was their offspring. Is that weird to say? That sounds kind of weird. Also, the fact that this is a critique on all theaters that do this. First of all, regardless of the movie, don't turn back on the lights until the credits are over. I don't care if people want to leave before the credits are over. You owe it to the movie to show the credits in the dark. And especially when there's a post-credit scene, okay? I don't care if it's not Marvel. There's a post-credit scenes in other movies, and this movie is one of them, okay? I didn't watch this VOD, I went to a theater and saw it, and I was the only one who stayed for the after-credit scene. I didn't even know if there was one or not. I actually wasn't expecting one, but I was watching the credits, like, you're supposed to. Anyway, the post-credit scene was pretty funny. I think it might have gone on a little too long. Would be like, okay, it kind of became tedious instead of funny, but then it kind of became funny again, so it's forgivable. And also it's a post-credit scene, so it's like, why am I even still here, So I guess overall I greatly enjoyed this movie, and for anyone who's a fan of others, definite watch. You'll probably like it, unless you're just a cynical dude who's like, nothing past the 2000s is good. If you're one of those people, then you're an idiot. What's up, guys? So, hope you're doing well. I recently went and watched Bill and Ted's No, it's not what it's called.